There we are. We're live.
We're here.
The World Series champions.
Texas Rangers. Is anybody out there?
I see one person.
You see one?
There's some people hopping on.
There's Cindy.
That's good.
Cindy from the good old Texas. Good evening, Cindy.
Oh, there's my wife.
Oh, there's Elizabeth.
Banner. Oh.
What was that?
I said I was going to ban her.
Oh, Banner.
Yeah. You sound like Banner, so that whatever. I'm probably in trouble. Sorry, hon. So you busted.
Hey, now.
Yeah.
You're a rock star now.
Yeah. Hey, welcome to the open house. I had a couple other people said they might hop on, but
I am jealous of Cindy. Cindy, she went to the grocery store and she got New York strips for $4.99 a pound.
Okay.
The same grocery store, because her grocery store got bought out by the same company I went to today, and they did not sell them at my grocery store that I went to for the same price, and so I was upset.
$4.99 is that choice? So great.
It was select, but it was it was select, but it was $4.99 a pound. I'm like, why couldn't I get them for $4.99 a pound? You know, but anyway, it's not her fault. But she got a really good deal. I mean, she got a really good deal. So
yeah, $4.99
good for her. Good for her.
I think the lowest I've got it was like $7.99 a pound around here. So I would have bought all of it.
Yeah, she gave me pictures of these bins of these steaks, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was in heaven.
Yeah, so I see that you post these these videos with all the coupons and stuff like that. You're really big into saving money, aren't you?
Yeah, I have to. I think you have to as well, feeding 10 people. So, I mean, you got your own birds there at your house. So, I mean, come on, you're doing your own eggs. I mean, you got to save money. So we got to save money. So,
I'm not sure I'm breaking even on the birds, but I feels good.
Yeah, we gotta get that money saved, man. Especially, you got 2.5 times more mouths to feed than I do. So, dude,
yeah,
we gotta save that money. And Cindy, I wish I had that store in my area, man. But by the time I drove to her area, it wouldn't have been worth the money and gas.
Oh yeah. Well, there's that. Yeah. There's a lot involved in that, and that's why I try to buy in bulk when I can, just because if I can buy in bulk and then save that money, it just makes sense. And then my wife can eat all my steak these days. She's been doing lion diet for like the last month, so she's been eating a lot of steak.
Oh, now look at that! Now she's even making me more jealous. Did you see that? Can you believe that?
Yeah.
Giving away eggs.
Yeah, I just got 36 eggs, or I think more than that, free the other day from a lady too. So
oh my gosh, I'm living in the wrong area.
Yeah, we cracked one open and I think there was feathers in it, so it was a little gross.
Oh, that's a little bit too far gone.
But yeah, if you ever get like those fresh farm eggs, they're so much better. It's so much better. But
oh yeah, especially since you can just leave them out.
Yeah, well, I've been buying 180 eggs a week.
Yeah, I bet you have been.
We've been feeding our kids a lot of eggs these days.
So you say you buy your meat in bulk when you do. What do you buy? Like you said, you have a butcher or something there, right?
Yeah, there's a butcher that's like half a mile from where I work that I go into, and I think a lot of time I get select. And sometimes it's good. I've had some that were misses though. You get a big chunk of meat, and you're like, this. I mean, it's okay, but it's not the best. So
yeah. Do you get a lot of bones for him for doing like broth and stuff?
I can.
You can? What are they selling for?
I think I'm not sure. Like, I think I was getting $3.99 a pound or something like that.
Okay. I just
I,
want
it's not it's not super cheap, but I mean it makes good broth when I've done
you're
it.
right. I just
Yeah.
want to compare it because there's a butcher near me that sells them. They're doing it for $2.99 a pound. So that's gives me
Okay.
a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Aaron, what's going on with you right now?
Just in general, well, I just worked a 10-hour shift on my day off, but yeah, I think you're talking about what, like diet stuff.
Yeah.
Um, just, just, just keeping at it. Eating mostly carnivore. I've been dabbling a little bit with. I've had like a little bit of onion and green pepper, here and there. But my wife's been doing the lion diet for the last month,
Okay.
but I'm staying as clean as I possibly can. But
Okay.
I've been, well, I've been drinking a lot more coffee these days because I've been working a lot and stressed out. So then I drink coffee and then I get even more stressed out. But then I like heavy cream, but I'm like, I know I have to cut down because it inflames, all the dairy inflames me. And so I'm in a position where I'm like my worst enemy because I know that dairy inflames me, but I like drinking it. But then just the kind of the pain in my wrists and stuff just is getting a little bit much.
Right.
So yeah. I don't know. And I think the weather change has to do with it, but it wasn't this bad last year. It wasn't this bad last year, and I really haven't changed my diet enough, I would think, to make that effect, but I'm not sure.
So you say you're doing like onions and bell peppers, right? Or is there a reason why, or you just wanted to vary it a little bit more, or
And like what I said that like I had it once or twice in like the last few months.
okay, just
Yeah,
okay,
just
just an occasional thing.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so she's doing lion.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm into my 6 month now. I just completed 6 months on the
Of
24th,
okay,
and just went for my 6 month checkup with my doctor.
okay,
And basically, I had stopped taking my thyroid medicine because it was way too expensive,
okay,
and I also wanted to see what my blood work would come up with. But my doctor didn't order it, so I
okay,
was kind of upset with that. But I decided to go ahead and start taking my thyroid medicine because there was another one that I could start taking that was not really, I wouldn't call it generic, but instead of taking the Armor thyroid, desiccated thyroid, there's a nature thyroid, which is kind of it's it's not really a generic, but it's more of a nature thyroid is what they call it.
okay,
So it's like a third of the cost. And so I started taking it in its place on um, probably it was around October the 24th, I think is what it was when I started taking that. And I hadn't lost any weight since September the 27th until October. Well, I'm sorry. Started taking it on October 21st, and then on October 24th, I actually started losing weight again. And as of right now, on September 27th, I'd lost 90 pounds.
awesome.
And then on October the 24th, I started losing weight again, and as of this week, I've lost 96 pounds,
Oh, okay.
and I'm 4 pounds away from losing 100. So
Okay.
I'm getting there. So I am now just I want to get to that 100 pounds, and
Hmm.
so I'm so close. But
Yeah,
I'm
so that's probably super motivating.
yeah, and so I'm thinking just because of my thyroid and everything, but I'm not. I don't know for sure, But I'm losing weight again.
Mhm.
But I'm thinking the thyroid was part of it because we didn't get that checked. But also, um, you know, I don't know if your William's going to be getting on here anytime soon or when he can, but I may wait to talk about it till later, but when we talk about addiction and all that stuff till later,
Mhm.
than my last video I put out there. But and Ricky's out here now. I want sausage, peppers, and onions because we were talking about peppers and onions, I guess. So, um,
Yeah.
but um, I've done a lot of things that I've started looking into because I started hearing a lot about how our body basically is working with the different chemicals in our body, and how I've heard a lot about dopamine, and how our body, we wanting the reward and everything, but I never knew the opposite side of it,
Oh, the
you know
serotonin. Yeah.
the serotonin, and how it affects the dopamine, and how it counteracts the dopamine. And so I was like, well, what is serotonin, and what does it do? And, and what is its relationship to dopamine? And then, you start hearing a bunch of different things about people having issues with, um, people that are talking about how they fall off the wagon, or, they're having these issues with, um, not staying on plan, or, they're not eating according to, to the carnivore or something. They're having these moments where they're wanting other things. And, and I was like, I haven't felt these things,
Yeah.
ever since I got rid of all the sugar, and I got rid of the carbs, and I understood, it gave me the ability to have that off switch that I never had before. And I was like, okay, so what is it? What is it that is creating these moments for people? What is it that's going on with people, that they're having these desires or these wants? And why are why are we as a people, why are we wanting to have these moments where we feel the need to go back to the sugar? Why don't we have these desires to go through the line at McDonald's, or go get something that we don't really need? And I found out one of the biggest things is when our serotonin gets low, that the biggest side effect of that is a carb craving.
Okay.
And when we get a carb craving, when you get those moments, your dopamine is increased. And so when your dopamine's increased, so what's the thing that you're going to fall back on? Well, when you get a dopamine increase, you're going to want something that you really desire. And if you're a carb addict, if you're a sugar addict, you're going to go for something that you really want. And something that you really want is something that you've been training yourself for the last 40 something years, in my case. And you're going to want to go back and have yourself a carb. You're going to want to go and have yourself something that you always had. So you're going to sit there and you're going to go, well, I could go through that line at McDonald's and have myself a, quarter pound hamburger patty, or I can have myself a quarter pound cheeseburger. And I can sit here and tell the person in the line, I can say, well, I'm going to, you have an a la carte menu, right? Well, give me a quarter pound patty, just from your a la carte menu. Or I can just go to that line and say, hey, I just need a quarter pound cheeseburger. Give me two of them, give me three of them, and just get the order and get on through there and go on and just have it and be gone and be done. Um, the thing is we put ourselves in those situations where we go into the line, and you know, we don't need to go into the line, and we put ourselves into that position. And then when we get in that position, the easiest route is just to fall into that dopamine and say, hey, I can get my fix, get it now and get it done and go on. And so we're like, we fall prey to our own desire. And we do this in life all the time. And, this is something we have a problem with, even, when we fall out of the grace of God and things like that in our walk with God. um, Serotonin is there, and how do we increase our serotonin so we don't have those carb cravings? Well, there's different ways. And funny thing is about serotonin, they they tell you, my wife brought this up too when I was looking into all this, is that your serotonin will get low even when like right after you have a child. And
Oh,
they'll
okay.
tell they'll they told my wife, like, you'll get really drained, your serotonin will get really low. They tell you, like, get out and take a walk, put your child in the carrier and take a
Mhm.
walk, get out in the sunlight, take a walk with them. um just get your serotonin level up. And this is what they tell you on this, get your before you mm, go into these cravings, get outside, take a 15-minute walk, um get that vitamin D up. um Another way that they tell you to do it is there's three different things that you can eat. You can eat, um there's there is fish, eggs, and cheese. Now I know you had say you have reactions
Yeah,
to
unfortunately.
dairy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But um they salmon, sardines, and eggs. And salmon, mackerel, sardines, they're all just, you can just pop open a can or anything like that and just eat them. They're quick, they're
yeah.
easy, they're fast. You can take them with you to work. You can take them with you wherever you go. Just pop open a can, eat them real quick. You can boil some eggs, take them with you to work. Just pop them in your mouth, eat some right quick, and then you can get your serotonin level just raising right there. You don't have to stop off on your way to work, way home from work, and go to the fast food restaurant. Get your serotonin level up that way. Get outside, take a 15-minute walk,
Hmm.
and then beat these cravings. And then you get your serotonin level up, your dopamine level will decrease. If you don't, and you give in to the craving, the
Hmm.
next time you try, your dopamine level is so jacked up that the next time you try, your serotonin level's still decreased. That the next time you try, your serotonin's still jacked up here. That the next time you go into it, now your serotonin's fighting this uphill battle. And you're going, now I'm gonna try to, you know, try to do something, but now you're gonna have to get the serotonin level back up here again. So you're, even though you think you're cheating or you're just doing one little thing, you're really creating a like hurdle that gets higher and higher and higher each time you do it. And the problem is that food is the only thing that we think that we can cheat on, because an alcoholic, you don't tell an alcoholic when they are addicted to alcohol just to have one cheat day. You don't tell somebody who has a smoking problem to just go out and have a smoke one time.
Yeah.
When somebody is addicted to sugar or to carbs, they seem to think, oh, I can just have a cheat day and it'll be okay. You know, so you got to curb your addiction by raising what will counteract, and you got to avoid those situations that are going to give you. You don't see a alcoholic going to a bar and saying, I'm just going to have water.
Yeah.
So you don't see a sugar addict going to McDonald's and saying, I'm just going to have a quarter-pound patty. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was going to say about that. That's I kind of got off the rails on that, but I'm sorry.
It
But
was like you took us to church about, yeah, these, all these just these hormones, it's the chemicals inside of our bodies that we don't really think about that
yeah,
often. Yeah.
and it's a battle too that we have with our, even with our walk in faith. I mean, you think about it. If we sin, if you sin and you have those moments of sin, it's a separation of God. When you cheat, or when you have these moments where you put something that's in your body that is separate, that is something that's bad for your body, that is bad for what you're trying to accomplish inside of you. You're doing something detrimental to you and to what you're trying to accomplish. You're separating your health. It's the same thing when with your walk with God.
Yeah.
When you sin, you're putting a boundary in front of you and God. that you're going to have to overcome. When you eat something that is putting something in between you and your health, you're putting a boundary that you're going to have to overcome.
Yeah, when you're talking about that, my wife has been struggling a little bit because she's been on the line diet for about a month, and she started having one of those moments the other day. Is like, I want to eat other foods, and I'm not going to share her whole story, but
Yeah.
what she realized was that like she was fine in the morning, but by the end of the day, it was really starting to bother her. And so
Mhm.
she started to realize that. Now that she's realized that, she's got some power over it. So is there any way that like her serotonin levels might be like changing throughout the day? And
Oh
that's why,
yeah.
yeah. So like she's fine in the morning, but near the end of the day, she's just like, okay, okay. You know,
Well, then if she can't do the cheese and she can't do the fish and everything
well,
since she's
she
doing
yeah,
lion.
she's doing elimination diet, but she doesn't like cheese anyway. So
So what she needs to do then is she needs to just step outside,
uh-huh.
take a 15-minute walk, and then while it's still sun out, it doesn't have to be the bright time of the day. She just needs to go outside, take a 15-minute walk, come back, and then see how she feels.
Mm, yeah.
Instead of dwelling on how she feels internally, instead of dwelling on that part of it, just get outside, take a 15-minute walk, and come back.
Yeah, Ron said that, not me.
Blame me, Elizabeth. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's like one of those things. The problem is like it's so hard to remember that sometimes in the
Yeah,
moment.
it's
Yeah,
in the heat of the moment, and what things going on around you and stuff, and
yeah,
you got to remember that too, Aaron.
yeah.
When she's feeling that, say, "Hey, honey, take a walk. I'll watch
Crap.
the kids. Take a walk."
Thanks, Ron. Thanks, Ron.
Or what my wife and I call it is shopping.
Okay.
So, honey, go shopping.
Mm,
And, just go shopping. Just
yeah.
just go shopping for about 15 minutes. Just, oh, there she goes. Thumbs up. She says go shopping.
It said, oh yeah, Shannon Parker said that she's been doing for line for 4 months now and having a bad meat aversion. Hey, we got
Meat
John.
aversion online, it's tough
Yeah.
because you're extreme.
Hmm.
You're extreme carnivore with lion. So there's not much you can do. What?
Yeah.
Okay. The only thing I can say is lion. Your beef, salt, water. That's it. So if you're having a meat like a beef aversion, you you might think about you might want to put in some other things. And even for 30 days, Shannon, you might want to start thinking about put in sardines, or even occasionally like throw in a little bit of fish in there or something to give yourself something else to eat. But just try a week or just a day here and there or something else, because then it might snap back and you might not have that aversion any longer. Or, as Springfield says, maybe just take a day off,
Yeah.
have a day of fasting.
Yeah, and then yeah, I mean, you're gonna want to eat eventually, right?
You are going to want to eat after that. But if you take that time of fasting, make sure you do take a time for spiritual reflection during that time.
Awesome. Hey, well, look, John Wood has showed up here.
Hey, John.
Hey, everybody.
So if you didn't know, I just posted like, hey, let's do an open house, and you like down in the link of the description. There's a link to hop on here, and we're gonna chat. I'm hoping to do it every Saturday possible. Just have people come in here, and we'll just chat about carnivore stuff for an hour, and just gives me something to do on Saturday nights. So, but yeah, John, like I looked. You said I saw that message and I was like, I looked you up just briefly, but I really know nothing about you, man.
I guess you could say I'm new to the scene. I went
Okay.
carnivore back July 1st. Was wrestling with some pretty bad health issues, atrial fibrillation, high blood pressure, arthritis in my hips and my knees and my feet. Lost my job as a paramedic because several years ago, actually, because I was so unhealthy that I really could not do the job anymore. So kind of like Sean White, intentional carnivore, our stories are kind of similar. And
Okay.
after I was fired from being a paramedic, I actually truck driver, became an over-the-road truck driver because I still needed to feed my family, and I was healthy
Mhm.
enough to sit behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler and drive. I could do that. So drove a truck for about 2 years as a company driver, then bought my own rig and started doing that. I contracted with the same company that I'd worked for. But every year as a truck driver, the Department of Transportation requires that you get a physical. And so I was in Cedar Rapids, Iowa in August of 2021, and I was headed back to Charlotte, North Carolina, which is where I live, to do my Department of Transportation annual physical, and went into a really bad case of atrial fibrillation, and I ended up in the emergency room, and they would not approve me to drive for 6 months to make sure that I wasn't going to have a stroke or a heart attack. Um,
Wow.
so I had no way to make any money. So I ended up having to sell my truck and sell my business with very short notice because my payments, I had about $1,800 I had to pay out every Friday. Well, when you can't drive and I'm in the hospital and I'm back in the hospital and getting medical bills, so I had to sell the truck really, really quickly. And that bought me some time to try to figure out what to do. And my wife and I were thinking about selling our suburban home. We're empty nesters now. My kids are all grown and gone. We were thinking about selling our suburban home and trying to buy, a couple acres somewhere, raise some chickens and grow our own vegetables and stuff and do some homesteading. Well, we watched all that stuff on YouTube. We ran across Homestead How. I don't know if you're
Okay.
familiar with Kerry Man, and he somehow his video popped up of the 30-day carnivore, 30-day carnivore experience. I guess I'd heard of carnivore before, but I was 325 pounds and basically stuck to the couch, couldn't do much of anything. So my wife went on to bed and I watched that. Of course, that led me to Sean White's channel. That led me to Dr. Anthony Chafee, Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Baker, Sean Baker. So I spent like 30 hours just glued to the TV thinking there's no way this can be real. These people are full of it. They got to be full of it. But this is like middle of June of this year. So I told my
Okay.
wife the next day, July 1st, I'm going to start this carnivore diet. She just rolled her eyes because I've done every diet under the sun and nothing has ever worked. I'll lose 10, 15 pounds and I'll put 30 back on. But, I got nothing to lose. Ironically, when we first moved to Charlotte back in 2005, I took out not long after we moved here, we got this nice home. I had my youngest daughter was still living at home. I took out a $250,000 term life insurance policy in case something ever happened to me. My daughter could go to college. My wife wouldn't have to sell the house. They could continue living. Well, it was a term policy. Well, ironically, the policy was ending at midnight on May 31st of this year. The policy was going to lapse and expire. And I can't renew it because now with my age and my health, the premiums would be, astronomical. So my goal was to die. If I could just die before May 31st, my wife could have the money. I would be released from this unbelievably painful existence that just was terrible. And I knew that my wife would still be okay. She wouldn't have to sell the house. She could take that money and do whatever. And I woke up on June 1st, still alive, mad as a hornet. God, I was mad at God. Why am I still here? Why are you doing this to me? This was my last hope to die. My wife could get the money. She would be taken care of. I wouldn't have to worry about her, and I would be out of this miserable situation. So I'm still alive. So I start the carnivore diet, and we had got some Boston butts and pork. The local Food Line grocery store had a bunch of them on sale for, I don't know, 89 cents a pound. So we went and bought a bunch of them. I have 3 freezers in the house, so we cooked them all in crock pots, put it in Ziploc gallon-sized storage bags. So I had just oodles and oodles and oodles of this pulled pork, and I was going to start this carnivore diet on July 1. Well, I was putting sugar-free barbecue sauce on there and hot sauce and stuff, but I ate just that and eggs for the first 2 weeks. And at the end of the 2 weeks, my hip pain in my right hip was gone. My knee pain was gone. I was sleeping better, and my feet stopped hurting. So I continued on. So August 1, I start buying a bunch of beef. You know, I'm looking at trying to do more ruminant meats. I'm doing bacon and eggs, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. And by the end of August, I'm down like 40 pounds. And I have energy, and I'm sleeping amazing, and I have no pain anywhere. I actually work at Lowe's Home Improvement Center. So I'm on my feet on concrete 10 hours a day, 4 days a week. And before I started this, my feet would just be on fire at the end of that shift. Well, fast forward to now, I just worked 11 and a half hours today, and my feet don't hurt at all.
That's right.
So I used to be a very anxious person, and food was kind of what I'd go to when I felt anxious. And well, I don't have that anxiety anymore. I got this, what do they call it, the carnivore zen or whatever. You know, I just love life, and I've started my YouTube channel, and I've just fallen in.
I was going to say, let everyone know what that channel is.
It's the Champion Within 9619. So if you just put in the Champion Within, there's several that pop up, but it's the Champion Within. It should be on the screen there. The Champion Within 9619. I got 164 subscribers, 7,000 views on my videos so far. I try to put out 3 or 4 videos a week, and I'm just trying. My goal. I'm 56. I'll be 57 in March. My goal going forward, I would like to try to teach people my age and older that what we've been told for many, many years, you know, you got to get old, you begin to break down, you sit in one of those little scooters at Walmart because you can't walk, and you know, you just every day is worse than the previous day. So downhill, you know, struggle till you die. And I'm finding out now at 56 years old, I feel better now than I did at 21. I can do more push-ups, I can lift more weight, I can run further, I can run faster at almost 57 than I could at 21. And the only thing I've done is change what I ate, you know. And I didn't start out doing a bunch of exercise, but one of the, I don't know if you know Carnivore Backwoods, John, he started this thing back in October, the October Step Challenge, for people to try to get as many steps in as they could over the course of the month of October. Well, I jumped in and did that, and not trying to brag or anything, but I won by 80,000 steps, and I think I'm the oldest person in the group. And I won by 80,000 steps. I did almost 500,000 steps in October.
Wow!
Congratulations!
178 miles. Yeah, appreciate it.
Did you like hook your watch to a drill or something?
the paint shaker at work. No, I just
I know what happened. I know your life started changing, and you're motivated and you started going for it. You had the energy to do it, and you did way more than I bet you thought you could do. You know,
yeah.
And just
the county that I live in Cabarrus County, which we're just north and a little bit east of Charlotte. So I kind of live in the suburbs. There's a bunch of county parks around here that have all of them have a trail. It's called the Carolina Thread Trail that kind of threads through all of these county parks. And if you walk from one end to the other, it's, I think, 20 some odd miles. So I just started going to these beautiful parks and walking and listening to carnivore content with my earbuds. And I look down, I've done 8 miles, and I've done 10 miles, and I've done 7 miles. And I can't believe that on 3 different occasions, I got up, put on a hat and clothes, and just walked out my door and walked 10 miles without stopping. And I'm talking about power walking, not sashaying, you know. And I probably couldn't walk 100 yards 4 months ago. My wife had to help me get up off the couch every day 4 months ago. And I just walked 178 miles in the month of October.
Wow. That's
pretty amazing.
I'm
actually doing my. I'm sorry.
What? No, go ahead.
I'm doing my first timed 5K this coming Saturday. Ground beef guy Randy, he and I are doing a 5K up in Mount Airy, North Carolina, which is the town of Mayberry. If you watch Andy Griffith, that's the town Mayberry. Oh, wow. But it's actually called Mount Airy. It's called the Mayberry 5K. It's the 10th annual or whatever. So Randy, ground beef guy, and I, and hopefully a couple others, are doing this 5K this coming Saturday. So
Cool.
really excited about that. But that's my story.
It's awesome. That's crazy. It's an awesome story. I was going to say is that my wake up call or my wake up moment was when I stepped on a scale and I saw 440 pounds on the scale. But your wake up moment or your God moment that you had was basically when your livelihood was taken away from you.
Yeah, twice.
When God said, "Hey, John, if you're not going to listen to me or you're not going to take my signs, you're going to have to do something. Here's your moment. What are you going to do?"
Yep.
And here's this time. And what led you to watch that video?
My wife and I were thinking about selling our suburban home. We've been here for almost 20 years, so we got a lot of equity in this house. Plus, the area around us is growing like crazy, so the house is gaining value. So we thought we could buy a smaller, like a little ranch house on 3 or 4 acres somewhere out in the country, and do some homesteading. And so I was looking at homesteading. We've been watching homesteading videos for a month, and out of nowhere, this Homestead How Carrie's video shows up with his 30-day carnivore. And I think I'd heard of carnivore before, but I never, I didn't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
But that was it was timely. It was divine. It was divinity. I promise it was divinity.
So what was your first thought though? I mean, seriously, what was your first thought whenever you heard eat meat?
I eat a lot of meat anyway. I usually soak it with French fries and bread and all that stuff. So
yeah.
I get the triple Whopper. I get
nothing else.
Right. That was the nothing else was the tough part. Yeah. It sounded crazy. All I could think of is my cholesterol. I'm going to have a heart attack. Stuff that we've been taught. I'm actually almost 57 years old. So my entire life, I was in school in the 70s and part of the 80s. And it was the food pyramid. We'd have to fill out the little things when we were in elementary school, fill out the food pyramid with the 18 slices of bread for breakfast or whatever. So this runs so counter to what I've been told basically my entire existence. It just seems so backwards. But then I started watching these testimonials on you're Ron. You provide a lot of inspiration for me. Adam, you were the first person I ever watched other than Carrie. I found yours, and I've been watching you for a while. And I thought all these things, people are having the very same experiences, and I knew there were probably people that I was watching that had never met each other. So it's not like they all got together and came up with a story. This is individual stories that have, they have the carnivore zen. They're losing arthritis. They're losing weight. They're getting a more positive outlook on life. They're, like every aspect of their life seems to be getting better. And these folks, I'm sure some of these folks have never met or never talked to one another. So I said, well, if half of that is true, count me in. And so far, 100% of it's been true.
Have you run into anyone since you started this? Have you run anybody into your past, and have they said anything to you about the way you're eating now?
Yes. Ironically, I work at Lowe's, and we have a guy. His name is Hernan. He's from Nicaragua, and he worked with me for a little while, and we got to be really, really good friends immediately. He's just a beautiful human being, just a great guy. Well, he left back in April and took on another job. And we haven't seen each other. Well, he came into the store last Thursday, and I work over in the paint aisle over helping a customer get something off a shelf. And he stood at the end of the aisle and just stared at me. And I thought, is something wrong? Why is he not speaking to me? So he just kept staring. So I said, Hernan, are you okay? And he goes, oh my gosh, in his thick, Latino accent. John, is that you? I can't believe it. So I told him what I was doing, and I was getting pretty carried away. I tend to be hyper, I guess. So I said, Hernan, watch this. So I just dropped to the floor and did 30 push-ups right at his feet. Because the last time he saw me, I was limping. I was having to hold on to things, and I was just a mess. Well, he's pretty robust guy himself, and he said, I want to do what you're doing. I want some of that for my life. He's 10 years younger than me. He's 46.
Wow.
So he said right then, I'm going to start Monday. And he's Latino, and in the Latino community, rice is everything. And he asked me about rice. I said, well, rice is off the menu going forward if you want the results that I've had. So he said, I'm going to talk to my wife. So we kept in touch, and I did my first interview with him. So it's on my channel. It's about 54 minutes long. I get his story, where he's from, and he's agreed to let me document his transformation, his journey on my channel. So I think probably Monday night, we're going to do our first update. And I bought him a thing to measure his neck and measure his chest and everything. So he can, give us an update on the inches and the pounds. And he has high blood pressure, sleep apnea, arthritis. He's got metabolic syndrome. It's, his doctor's telling him, don't eat meat. Whatever you do, don't eat meat. And he's just getting worse and worse and worse. So it'd be kind of cool to document his journey from day one going forward.
Yeah.
But that's the only person. That's the only person. Yeah.
It's such a common thing. Don't eat meat and just take the pills and just get sicker and sicker.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the thing that gets me because I went on the diet and it was like within 90 days, I cured pretty much everything I had. Yeah. And I'm like, I was like, at the time, 3 months felt like a long time doing it. But afterwards, I'm like, that was only 3 months. It's crazy that I could, get all that healing in 3 months.
Right.
And
without buying a bunch of pills, right?
Yeah, I could have just been on the pills and just kept going and going. And you're saying that, you're 10 years older than I am. It's like you're saying you feel better now than you did in your 20s.
Absolutely. Without a doubt. I mean, it's not even close. I thought I felt good as a young man, but I was eating donuts and pizza and addicted to candy. I ate donuts and apple fritters and honey buns and chocolate eclairs every day of my life. I mean, I could not imagine going a day without eating junk garbage because it was cheap. It was plentiful. I work in public safety. So sometimes you don't get, if you're working on an ambulance, you don't get you get, hey, run in the store and grab the quickest thing you can and choke it down on your way to the next call. It's an extremely unhealthy way to live. And then I started working overnights and it got even worse. So, and that's what I did most of my adult life I was a paramedic. So now the sky's the limit now. I think there's literally nothing I can't do. I mean, I just beat Shaun White by 80,000 steps.
That's funny. That's awesome. So have you found yourself getting angry at all? And have you felt like you were maybe robbed of some years?
Yeah, I mean, I'm disappointed. I guess I could be angry if I chose to be.
Yeah.
But the people that I think a lot of doctors, because I worked in the healthcare industry, like I say, most of my adult life, I worked on an ambulance or in the emergency room at the hospital. And I didn't know any better. I probably told people not to eat meat too, because that's what my trainers taught me. So I'm not upset at these people because I think a lot of them I became a paramedic because I truly wanted to help people. I was going to save the world in the back of my ambulance. And so my intentions were in the right place. I was just giving bad information. But I do believe there are people, if you go back and research this, big food and big pharma, you too young, Adam, to remember this. Ron, how old are you?
I'm just 3 years younger than you.
So you might remember this. Remember the big lawsuit that Big Tobacco had to pay out?
Oh, yeah.
Because they were caught using engineers to come in there and study and test, chemical and bioengineers, trying to figure out how to make cigarettes more addictive.
Right.
And they figured out they gave them to kids. So we had those little candy cigarettes. And they had the Marlboro Man. They had the Marlboro Man, all this stuff. And they were actually paying bioengineers big bucks to try to make tobacco more addictive, especially to Black Americans. That was kind of their target audience. And they got caught. And some whistleblowers came forward and they lost a, hundreds of billions of dollar lawsuit. As soon as the lawsuit was settled, they bought Kraft Foods. That was the first thing that Philip Morris bought from the thing. And then they started buying pharmaceutical companies. So because people don't smoke. I don't know hardly anybody nobody in my family smokes. Hardly anybody in my life smokes. But everybody eats. And they took all those resources and they put it into the food. There's a reason food is addictive. There's a reason high fructose corn syrup is probably the worst thing for you. And it's in every aisle of the grocery store, except the meat department and the fresh vegetables. It's in everything else. If you don't believe me, read the label. High fructose corn syrup is in places you'd never. It's in beef sticks. So that just tells you in my opinion, when I get angry, maybe those are people I'm getting angry at because they're doing this maliciously to line their pockets, to buy another jet, another mansion, another yacht, and God will judge them. God's going to judge me as well. I'm not outside of judgment. I will be judged, but I'm forgiven because Jesus died on a cross for me, and I accept that. And if mistakes in the past, I've tried to atone for them. But these folks, they just want another billion, another zero in their bank account, and society be damned. The health of the world, who cares? So I'm angry at them. But for the doctors that gave me bad advice, the nurses, the practitioners, I think in their heart they were thinking they were giving me good advice because they were, who sponsors the medical textbook? Who pays for the medical textbooks? Research that.
Yeah, I got a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, read those labels. I had the idea the other day. I was going to walk into the store and everything, look at the label and like film it and everything that had some junk, and I just punch it, go flying across the room because it's in everything. It's crazy.
If the ingredient list is bigger than this, you shouldn't be eating it.
Right.
Well, because it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Right.
It's unnecessary, and it's junk food is like cheaper and has all these extra ingredients, and the stuff that has no ingredients is like more expensive, and it's like this doesn't make any sense. What's happening?
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I've gone through all that. I look at every label at the store. Every label.
But have you found yourself though doing more watching of what other people are buying?
I try not to.
Well,
I really just try not to because I know that because I'm just going to write jokes and no one's going to think they're funny except for me probably.
Right.
What the heck is that? Yeah.
Hey, John.
But the thing about it is,
go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Ron, the thing about it is people were probably judging me. Carnivores that saw my grocery cart 4 months ago would be saying the same thing that I would think looking at some of what I see.
Oh, yeah. What I was going to say, John, if there's one piece of advice that you can give anybody watching right now, what would it be about this way of eating?
It would be to try it. Give it 30 days. I committed from July 1st to July 31st. If it don't work, if you don't, and you got to be disciplined about it. I think people can do anything for 30 days. The name of my channel is The Champion Within because I believe God put a champion spirit inside every single one of us. But you got to sometimes be your own champion. And if you can just stick to it for 30 days, just say, for 30 days, I'm going to do this. And if it doesn't work, at least I tried. If it does work, maybe I'll think of another 30 days. But I think I want everybody to feel this good. I'm so saddened by people who are 10, 15, 20 years younger than me that feel older than I do. I truly feel like I'm aging backwards. Everybody's searching for the fountain of youth. I believe we found it.
Well, adequate nutrition.
Yeah.
That all the trash.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, John. I know since doing this, and I'm doing it with my wife and everything, that my relationship with her has gotten better, and my relationship with God has gotten better, probably because my relationship with her has gotten better. And we've been married for 26 years. But has anything changed with your relationship with God and any relationship that you have personally with anybody else since going on this way of eating? Well, if you want to talk about it. If not, that's fine. I'm just asking.
No, that's fine. That's fine. If you watch my channel, I'm very open. I'm trying to be transparent as I can. I've always been a believer. I was raised in an Episcopal church, but when I married the wife that I'm married to now, we've been married. We celebrated 30 years back in September. I started going to a Baptist church. So that's kind of where I've been. I believe that Jesus died on a cross and 3 days later rose from the dead. Because I believe in him and follow him, I have everlasting life. I don't doubt that at all. But my wife is not on board with this at all. She don't want anything to do with it. She thinks I'm mad. She thinks I'm silly. She thinks That's just something else that's going to eventually go away, and I'll move on to the next biggest, best thing. And so there's strain in my house that's never been there before. So I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I totally understand.
Yeah.
I can tell.
All I can do as a husband and as a husband and a father and a leader of my home is just lead by example.
Right.
She sees that I can jump up and go do what I need to do. I walked 10 miles the other day and came home and then cut the grass and then vacuumed the den and then put the dishes away and then put the clothes away. And she has to see this. Anyway.
That's one thing my wife says. I have a lot more energy, and I'm like, do I? Because I didn't realize I did, but I think that's one thing. It's really neat because I can share that with her, I mean, I guess you can say I was just trying to get by before, before I started doing this. I was just, just kind of just trying to get to the next day. And now it's like I have like something to look forward to, or something, I have like goals and things, and it's really neat because it's like you I'm having something, because I'm seeing things change and I'm seeing things going on inside of me. And it's like, I want to get down, I've got I want 4 more pounds I want to lose, just because I want to lose 100 pounds. And then I want to get down even more because I want to get, my son involved with this. And I want to do this and I want to do that. And I want to do this in my life. And, I was talking about on one of the things, like when I was, when I had this food addiction and everything, that the weight and everything wouldn't allow me to go to certain stores to go buy clothes, and now I can go to those stores and buy clothes, what I couldn't do before. And now, I mean, that was like, oh my gosh, I could actually go into that store and actually not have to go to a specialty store and buy clothes. And it's like something to look forward to. And that's kind of, those those type of things are, something to look forward to. And with that, it's like, I can go to God and I say, God, thank you for opening my eyes to where I was. And it took a scale for it to open my eyes, but I'm sorry that I wasn't listening to what you were trying to tell me. I'm sorry that I didn't take the signs that you were trying to give me before, but thank you for bringing this to me now, and thank you for putting this into my life right now, and thank you for put allowing this weight to change and allowing my body to heal. Thank you for healing my body. Thank you for making these changes. Thank you for giving my doctor the knowledge to basically tell me and to prescribe the right medicine for me and to get me to where I am right now. That is, one of the things that that relationship with God, that part of it that I'm so thrilled with right now, that is just blessing me right now. And with this, through this way of eating, I've got a clarity that I've never had before, that that is directing me in what I'm doing. And just that whole part of it, I just am loving that part and being able just to share that with others. And I love the fact that you're able to come on here and share your story as well. And God bless you and everything you do.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, the one thing for me, I mean, somebody did ask me at work one day, a lady that I work with, she doesn't have any weight problems. She's 62 years old and she gets around like a 10-year-old. I mean, she is amazing. But she did ask me what were the biggest changes that I felt, other than, putting on smaller clothes. And the list is, 100 long.
Oh yeah.
But there's two that really stand out to me. First and foremost is the calmness. I just have a calmness inside of my head, if that makes any sense.
Oh yeah.
I'm just calm all the time. I can look at things in context. If somebody cuts me off in traffic, instead of blowing the horn and flip them off, I'm thinking they may have an emergency at home involving their child, because I've had that. They may be running late for work, and if they are late one more time, they're going to get fired. I mean, it just, nothing bothers me. I just give everybody the benefit of the doubt, and it's just a different way of living. The second thing is, having worked in public safety, and I've seen things that no one should ever have to see, and I've seen them probably 1,000 times. I worked in EMS in the city for 20 years overnight, so I've seen it all. So I used to have nightmares. I'd be afraid to go to sleep because, when you have nightmares, you wake up and it's uncomfortable. So I would be afraid to go to sleep. So I didn't sleep well because I knew if I closed my eyes, I was going to have a nightmare. Well, I got out of EMS in 2013, I think it was. That's back when I went to drive a truck. And eventually the nightmares went away. It took about a year and a half, but eventually, but then I stopped dreaming. I have sleep apnea, so I have to wear a sleep machine. And I guess I wasn't getting into that deep REM sleep where you can have dreams. But since I've started this, now I'm not making this up. I'm not exaggerating, and I tend to exaggerate at times, but this is the honest truth. Probably from the beginning of August till now, I've had some sort of extremely happy, fun dream every single night without exception. And I wake up in the best mood. I might dream my mom passed away about 5.5 years ago. She was my buddy. She was the life of the party. She was a great person. She died of cancer and kidney failure. But I dream about my mom sometimes. I dream about my wife and I going on vacation with our kids. Our kids are all of a sudden, 10 years old again. And so and it's like now I look forward to going to sleep because I want to see what the movie of the night is. And it's such a dichotomy from being terrified to go to sleep to looking forward to going to sleep because I know I'm going to see a fantastic, we'll call it a movie, but it's just a dream. But I wake up just laughing and my wife's like, what are you? I said, I just had a fantastic dream. Let me tell you about it. And I can remember details of the dream.
Okay. Well, I'll stop you. Now, this is for you, Aaron, Elizabeth, and you, John. One of the things, too, they say about raising your serotonin is thinking happy thoughts. Now, John is increasing his serotonin through meditation, through his dreams, and he's having happy thoughts in his dreams, and his serotonin is increasing. Even while he's sleeping, his serotonin is increasing, which is lowering his cravings for carbs. I'm telling you, he's doing good things because he's changed his diet. He's increasing his serotonin. His dreams are helping that, and he's not going to have his cravings because of that. Elizabeth, that's one of the things too. If you think happy thoughts, if you go and have your time of prayer and things, and you think happy thoughts, and you have these times like John's having, you're going to increase your serotonin. Okay, listen to me. He's not going to have these problems. Are you having a lot of issues with cravings, John?
No, well, I've had two where I fell off the wagon. One was so the step challenge ended on October 31st. Well, on October 29th, I went down to Augusta, Georgia, which is where I'm from originally. An old high school buddy of mine was in town seeing his parents, so I drove down there, and he and I walked along the canal. We did a 10-mile walk. He's retired Air Force, so we did a 10-mile walk, and then we filmed a video. It's in one of my videos. You can watch it there. But and then on the way home, driving back to Charlotte from Augusta, it's about 3 hours. I started getting a tickle in my throat. So it'd be the first time I've been sick since I started carnivore. And by the time I got home, I was feeling pretty sick, but I had to work 11 hours on Monday. And when I woke up Monday morning, I didn't have to be at work until noon. I worked 12 noon to 11 p.m. at night. I closed the store down and cleaned up. When I woke up Monday morning, I was pretty sick, and I just didn't feel like getting up and meal prepping. Well, I'd been gone all weekend between a festival that I went to up in Lexington, North Carolina, and then going to Georgia to see my buddy. So I didn't have any food prepped at all. I'm at work. I have a fever. I'm coughing. I just feel terrible, and it comes lunchtime. So I stopped at a local gas station to get some gas because I drove from Georgia back. I didn't ever get gas because I didn't feel good. Well, I went in the gas station and they had donuts and apple fritters right there at the counter. And I felt terrible. I had nothing to eat. I was going to go to Wendy's and get some hamburger patties at the drive-thru at Wendy's. And I just wanted to sit in my car and try to feel better. Well, I had a donut, an apple fritter, 2 burritos, and a barbecue sandwich. That was just this past Monday. And I came home, went to bed. I was off Tuesday, thank God, because I stayed in bed all day Tuesday. I was just, when you're sick, you don't feel good. And I got on the scale and I gained 6 pounds between Monday morning and Tuesday morning. I gained 6 pounds. But having worked in the medical field, I can tell you, and some folks may or may not know this, for every 1 gram of carbs you take in, your body holds on to 4 grams of water. So just a few carbs could raise your weight a bunch because your body won't release the water because it needs the water to process the carbohydrates. Well, right, and even as I was eating those donuts and that stuff, And then when I got back to work, I brought everybody a bag of Halloween candy. Happy Halloween. Thanks for doing a good job. And I ate all that too. It's in my video from yesterday. But then I thought, tomorrow morning, I'm going back on plan. This was almost, I won't say it was an on purpose mess up, but I didn't hate myself. I wasn't critical. I just needed something to eat. And I felt I needed to go home sick, but I was the only person in the paint department. If I'd have gone home, they'd had to shut the department down. And I'm a team player. These folks gave me a job and nobody else would. I'm all in. So I ate crazy. And this was just past Monday. Tuesday morning, I'm right back on plan. I'm not going to look back. So I've had beef, butter, bacon, and eggs from Tuesday to now, and I've lost 5 of that 6 pounds already. Yeah. But as far as cravings on a day-to-day basis, they expanded our break room. They brought in donuts and honey buns and bear claws and all this stuff. And the whole wall is just, it's not a vending machine. You just grab it off the wall, scan it, and they take it out of your paycheck. So it's very, very accessible. And I don't even think about it. But I have to be honest and tell you about what happened Monday. But this is as sick as I've been since I had COVID. But I feel better now. Usually when I get sick, I'm down for 2 or 3 weeks. But I started getting sick Sunday, today, Saturday, and I worked full day today without any problem. But I've not gone off plan at all between that mess up, if you will, Monday and now. And I've 5 of the 6 pounds I gained, I've already lost. So that's my story there. But on a day-to-day basis, no, I don't crave. I drive past, that it's a QT gas station. I drive past it on my way to work. It's right next to where I work. So I drive past it every day. Before I got in carnivore, I had those donuts and apple fritters every day. If I went to work, I was going to have 2 donuts and apple fritter and some burritos and some roller grill items. So I drive past it every day now, and I don't even think about it until my moment of weakness. And I was sick as I've been in a long time. I just wanted something. I wanted to go home, but wasn't an option.
I understand.
But not bad. I've been on this since July 1st. I've had probably a total of 7 slips. One was within the first 10 days. I had a Kit Kat candy bar. Ironically, I was trying to get something out of a vending machine. This is before they redid our break room. And the numbers didn't line up with the product. So I hit C17 thinking I was getting a Slim Jim, and a Kit Kat candy bar fell out. Well, I'm 10 days into carnivore. I haven't had a single carb, and this thing drops out. I'm thinking it's manna from heaven. Thank you, God, And so we get a 15-minute break. So I stared at that thing for 14 minutes. And then it's time for me to get back out on the floor. Do I throw it in the trash? Do I leave it on the table, or do I eat it? I've been sweating thinking about this for 15 minutes. So I opened it up and ate it. And then the other times were I'm a peanut butter addict. I love Peter Pan peanut butter. We've got plenty of it in the house. So on 2 different occasions, I've had a single spoonful of peanut butter. And it doesn't taste right now. Like I asked my wife, I said, "Is this rancid? What's wrong with this?" She said, "It's fine. What's wrong?" But to me, it doesn't taste like I remember it tasting. And so I had the Kit Kat candy bar. I've had the peanut butter 2 times. I had the episode Monday. So maybe 5 times probably since July 1 to now. I fell off plan. But even when I do, I've built up the fortitude now, or whatever, the discipline now, that if I go off plan, tomorrow morning we're right back on. And I don't give myself 2 days. If I screw up, it's over and done. I don't hate myself. I'm not a loser. I'm a winner. I just got to start winning again the next morning. And I hope that I don't have those episodes in the future. I did cook up a whole bunch of hamburger patties. So I left some at work in the freezer at work. I've got some in the fridge here and some in the freezer here. So hopefully, if I go back to work one day and I'm tired, I don't feel good, I can just reach into the freezer, throw it in the microwave, and remove that temptation.
I mean, having a slip up is, it's a lot like, I mean, you can think of it like, sin and things. You're going to have slip ups, and there's going to be times where you're going to sin. I mean, you're going to have a time where you're going to have a lie, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, but it's not going to totally separate you from God.
Right.
The same thing as the slip up's not going to totally separate you from your health. A slip up is not going to make you. It's what you do after the sin.
Right.
Do you repent of that sin, or do you just keep on sinning? Do you keep on going and doing that same thing over and over again? Do you keep lying? Do you keep doing that? Do you keep doing what you're doing, or do you change what you did and make a new habit, or do you turn away from that thing that made you slip up?
Right.
So that's the main thing. You're going to have those times. It's
Sure.
going to happen. But how can we keep ourselves from being in that situation? That's the thing that we got to work on, and that we have to do. Just in our Christian faith, we have to work on the ways that we can prevent ourselves from sinning. We have to work
Right.
on, that we strengthen who we are inside with our walk with God, the same way that we strengthen our who we are inside, that we don't have those slip ups. And one of the
Right.
things that we can do is make sure that we build up those things inside of us so that we don't have those moments where we are tempted, and we're not tempted to do these things and have those moments of temptation, just the same way we don't have those moments where we're tempted to sin. That's where we have those links to faith.
Right.
Faith in what we do and faith in God, faith in the way we eat, faith in God. That's how we balance these things out. And then we have the
Exactly.
balance of our faith, the balance in our way of eating. And that's where we have the correlation of our walk with God and our walk with this way of eating.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
I have it like a saying. Well, it doesn't matter what you do; it matters what you do next. But
Right.
it still matters what you do, because a lot of times what happened is like we make the one mistake, and then we make a worse mistake because we made
Right.
the first mistake. So it's like the second one is almost the most important decision to make, but really the first one's the most to make. But if you already failed the first one, the second one's the most important, because what you get down on yourself, and then that's where people's like, well, I was in a downward spiral for 6 months, for a year, for 3 years, or however long. And so you know that's, I always try to warn in those circumstances, just
Hmm.
make sure that your next decision isn't to blow up your entire life.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is, it's very common. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just my
Awesome.
advice to people out there. Just if you have we're all human beings. We've all sinned and fallen short of the glory. There's
Mhm.
only one perfect person who's ever walked the face of this earth, and that's who I worship.
Oh,
Right.
So if you do mess up and you go off playing, you know, just forgive yourself, but don't do it again. Get back on the horse. Get back on plan. It's a
Hmm.
fight, but you're worth the fight. Every human being that's watching this, that will see this, you are worth the fight. Sometimes you got to fight through those temptations, but you are worth
Mhm.
it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so my serotonin level has been a little low, and then hearing your story raised it up a bunch. You know,
I'm glad.
Happy thoughts.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm almost 600 days on the carnivore diet, so I've been on it for a while now, way longer than I thought I
Well,
was going to be on it. And so
yeah.
I've seen a lot of changes in my life, and had struggles here and there, and I've gone through some struggles recently, but like I'm getting low. I still get low, but then hearing the story, I'm starting to remember, oh yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm to the place that I'm forgetting how far that I've came.
Yeah. It's
And
funny, Adam, when I found your channel, which was probably 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago now, I was,
okay,
there's so much content. You can spend your entire life watching this content and probably never catch up. But I went back and binged watched your stuff from early on.
okay,
And I've never met you, but I feel like I know you because I know so much about your story. I know your wife, your kids, some of the stuff, and
okay,
you are incredibly inspiring to me, incredibly,
okay.
and you lift me up. And we've never met prior to right now, but you lift me up on a pretty much a daily basis. So I want to
I
thank
pre-
you for that.
oh,
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I just went on a carnivore diet and just started eating meat, and then saw changes, and like was like, what the heck's going on? And
Mhm.
put it on YouTube for some
Yeah.
reason, and now I believe that God has me doing this, and I still fight with them every single day because it makes no sense to me. But I still, because it's still weird to me, but I see the value in it.
Right.
I see the life change, and I see the value, and I see the hope, and I see
Mhm.
people's lives being changed, and them fighting through issues with food,
Right.
which to me I
Uh,
thought, is just is it's amazing and scary for me. Completely
yeah.
amazing and scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to put any pressure on you, but I just know that God is using you as a vessel. You're the messenger. He's the message.
Yeah.
Not only about proper nutrition, but I know you share your faith very openly, and that gives me confidence to share my faith openly. You
That's
know,
cool.
on my channel. It's just Ron, same thing with you. I know that you you don't hide your faith. You put it right out there, and anybody that knows you, they kind of know where you stand right off the bat. They don't have to second guess, and that's very encouraging to someone like me who doesn't always have the guts to put my faith out there. I worked in public safety, and there was a lot of people I worked with that didn't believe. I don't know how they did what we did without having some, belief in something. But just to put things in perspective, in the last 5 years, I had 13 former coworkers take their own life.
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
And some of them might be from very poor diet. I mean, their brain. If I didn't find Carrie's channel, if I didn't find the carnivore diet, when I didn't die of natural causes because I was so extremely unhealthy, and I've had a lot of heart trouble, I've had high blood pressure, I've had depression. Oh my gosh, depression like you wouldn't believe. Yeah, especially after my mom passed away. I thought about how could I do this and make it look like an accident, because I figured if I just outright killed myself, they wouldn't give my wife the insurance money. There would be some type of clause in there. Well, he took his own life, you don't get the insurance money. So I spent days and days and days trying to figure out exactly how I could have a wreck or fall off because there's a lot. I live near the mountains. It'd be relatively easy to do. I just never could muster the courage to do it. And thank God I didn't,
Thank God.
Yeah. So when that video was put in front of me, and it spoke to not my brain but my soul, and God said, "Here you go, John. I got something for you. Take a look at this."
Hope. Some more hope.
Hope. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's what it was. All right, guys. Well, we're a little over an hour. I want to thank you guys for showing up. I'm going to do this next Saturday unless something blows up. But my goal, I'm usually able to be home Saturday night. So if people want to come on, show their stories, we have a certain amount of room on here, but I would just want to be available for people, just see where the conversations go and try to give people hope. Try to give people hope that feel like their life is over and are waiting essentially to die. Right. There's hope. There's hope out there. There's hope for you. And you're worth fighting for. And I know these guys. I mean, I've talked to Ron before. I've just met John tonight, but I can already tell they're willing to fight for you also.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So make sure you subscribe to their channels and support them. And I want to, just thank you guys for logging on tonight. We'll see you soon.
I gotta say one thing, Aaron, if I could. I recently got new bifocals. I think I've been calling you Adam, and I was looking through the top of my bifocal. Aaron, when I was saying Adam, said that don't sound right. And I do follow somebody, the minimalist carnivore. He's Adam, so I guess that's where I went. But if I called you the wrong name, I apologize, man.
Yeah, you did.
I look at the bottom of my bifocal. It's Aaron. I'm sorry. But I was saying, I said that don't sound like it. But through the top of my glasses, it looks like Adam. Okay, it's Aaron. I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's okay.
This getting old thing. It does have its drawbacks at times. But I'm doing my first 5K this coming Saturday. My first ever 5K. If you don't mind, I may pop back in and just give an update how it went and how I did. And I'll be with Randy, the ground beef guy. Maybe ask him if he'd like to join us.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Appreciate everybody.
Thank y'all for joining us.
My wife put AA Ron. Okay.